I say to you today, my friends, that in spite of the difficulties and frustrations of the moment, I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at a table of brotherhood. I have a dream that one day even the state of Mississippi, a desert state sweltering with the heat of injustice and oppression, will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream that my 4 children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day the state of Alabama, whose governor's lips are presently dripping with the words of interposition and nullification, will be transformed into a situation where little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls and walk together as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted, every hill and mountain shall be made low. The rough places will be made plain, and the crooked places will be made straight, and the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all shall see it together. He had a dream. That has to be one of the greatest speeches of all time, and among one of my absolute favorites. Not only due to the content of the speech, but because of the moral character and charisma behind it. And again, that would be Dr. Martin Luther King. He's one of those people that I truly hope I get the chance to speak to someday in whatever plane we may wind up on or in after this life. However, had he lived, I wonder what he would say today. I wonder what he would say today. I wonder what his speech would reflect today. So let's give it a shot. I had a nightmare that all throughout our greatest cities, brown men, black men, and poor men alike were increasingly subject to arrest and incarceration, as opposed to their right and far richer counterparts. I had a nightmare. I had a nightmare that one day, in one court, halls representative of all, men and women were subject to disproportionate sentences and punishment. I had a nightmare, mandatory minimums. I had a nightmare, 3 strikes laws. I had a nightmare, justice is no longer blind. I had a nightmare within which our great nation incarcerated far more people per capita than any other nation in the world. Terrified, I saw people, most of whom offended for the first time, most of whom would never repeat, most of whom never violent, but only desperate. I had a nightmare. I had a nightmare all along the shores of the Potomac as I witnessed ignorance and empty streets, vacant, with only the special interest and politicians in conversation, people buying, people dying, people in front of the TV. I had a nightmare. I had a nightmare where the rights of corporations overpowered the right and rights of individuals, blackened seas, decaying neighborhoods, and burnt earth. Souls taken clearly and souls emptied. I had a nightmare. I had a nightmare along the streets of Pittsburgh where the power of 20 overpowered the voices of millions. I had a nightmare, G20. I had a nightmare, stifled opposition. I had a nightmare, the persecution of assembly and of the counterpoint. I had a nightmare wherein color-coded warnings told me who to hate, who to watch for, and how to fear. I had a nightmare. I had a nightmare where the avenues of commerce told me, buy more, buy more, buy more, and you will be more. I had a nightmare in this Christmas of consumption and brotherly greed. I had a nightmare in front of my own TV. Vote for a singer, don't vote for your voice. Celebrity more important than the nation. I had a nightmare. I had a nightmare that they'll come for me and they'll come for you should you dissent too. The Patriot Acts, executive orders, and statutes based upon homeland security as opposed to freedom. I had a nightmare. I had a nightmare that one day every valley shall be barren, every hill and mountain more steep, more separate, the rough places shall be imprisoned, and the crooked places erased, wherein the glory of money, power, and greed will be revealed, leaving all flesh to ask, Where did we go wrong? It's not that I'm trying to rain on today, because this is Martin Luther King Day. For certainly his accomplishment is paramount, and his accomplishment is remembered. However, the action, the perseverance, and the diligence to create said accomplishment is largely forgotten. So many of our rights have been eroded throughout the decades that have passed since Martin Luther King Jr. And not only have the rights of minorities been eroded, but the rights of everybody. For those of you that think that equality exists in between minorities and the majority today, you're sadly mistaken. Sadly mistaken. One need only look at incarceration statistics, our comparison between ethnic groups to see that there is still a horrible, horrible disparity between minorities getting arrested and the rest of us getting arrested. And the severity of punishment is something you should look at too. Furthermore, what I'm trying to do with this video is I want to take a happy moment, I want to recognize a sad moment, and I want to implore to people, to beg people that we need to undertake the same actions that they did so long ago, led by Dr. Martin Luther King. Let's create a new freedom ride of sorts, because I hate to tell you, everybody, but we keep giving rights up. And we're giving them at a pace that a lot of people don't see. Snowballing. Alright? It's snowballing. So I wanted to take this day, this very important day, to remember not only the person, but the act and the actions that led to their amazing accomplishment. I have no doubt that he would say that the world in some ways has become a nightmare. A lot of you know that it has become a nightmare. So let's do more to push that nightmare aside and to create the legacy that we all dream of, the world that we all want. It's there if we want it. I do have a dream, and I know you have a dream. We all have a dream. So let's make that dream a reality. Yeah. Hate to be somber on such a special occasion, but I just couldn't be too happy about all of this. I don't have a beer and I don't have wine, but I'll toast my green tea to Dr. Martin Luther King and everything he accomplished. That's all I got for now. Later. Peace.